The Under-Recruited Athlete Football Show is thrilled to introduce Kyrik Mason, a recent transfer from Monmouth University to Georgia State University. Mason is a 6'3", 290-pound offensive lineman from Columbia, Maryland, who was an anchor of the Hawks offensive line, starting 10 games as a junior. As a Dean's List recipient, Mason seeks to make the best of the remaining 2 years of eligibility that he has and is excited to take the field as a Panther.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Alonzo McDowell. Welcome back to the URA Football Show. I'm here today with Kyrik Mason. He's a Maryland athlete that transitioned through the process of the recruitment process, going to Monmouth, and then now at Georgia State. I was very excited to get a conversation with him. I appreciate you, Mac, from Mac Fitness, from setting this thing up. So without further ado, let me introduce Kyrik Mason. Take it on, Kyrik.
Hey, how you doing? First, I just want to thank Alonzo for, inviting me on here. I just feel like it's really important for, a lot of people to understand, like, the recruitment process and, like, how it's going on and what you have to do to, like, get where somebody, like, in my position. So I just want to start by saying it was a grind. I was being recruited over COVID, so a lot of, my opportunities came, like, later on in the process because, a lot of schools were a little bit concerned about how many scholarships they were going to have. So a lot of the big-time schools that I was talking to kind of turned into a PWO situation. But I always promised my mom that I wasn't going to allow her to pay for college, so I decided to go to FC route and then kind of take it on from there.
Hey, man, so let's start from the beginning. All right. So you're from Maryland.
Yes, sir.
All right. No, let's do this. Tell them your measurables, because I think kids got to understand, like, you might be good, but to play at that FBS level, you got to have some good measurables. So tell them about your measurables.
So I'm about 6'4", and I weigh about 310 right about now.
And you playing where? What side of the ball?
So I play left tackle and a little bit of guard.
Okay, so for you guys that's 6 feet, that's you under 250, hey, FBS, man, it's I'm just telling you, it's not for you. Them some big boys at that FBS level, So just to get in your mindset when you're like, hey, man, I'm going to play D1 ball. Check out guys' measurables. It's easy. It's on the rosters, all right? This is a big boy. He ain't playing around with none of y'all little boys. So please understand, colleges are looking at measurables first, man. All right, so now you're a Maryland athlete. Where'd you go to high school?
So originally, I started my first 2 years at Gilman High School in Baltimore, Maryland. But certain things happened, and I just felt like I wanted more. I wanted more exposure, and to be playing at a Division I level and to see where you rank up against good competition. I decided to transfer to St. John's College High School in D.C. So that high school. It put me on a really good national platform. My junior year, we played schools like Mater Dei, Duncanville, a lot of Southern Florida teams. So I felt like they put me in the best position to really see what it's like to go against the best of the best in the country.
So you got a lot of kids right now, man. Their parents are in middle school. They're in middle school. Their parents is looking at whether to allow them to go to a private school or a public school. I know a lot of these kids aren't going for free. There is an investment, whether the investment is early or the investment is late. One of the things is I found is for some parents, private school is the best option. Some of the public schools just don't have the resources that some kids need. So just tell me, man, how was it as a private school athlete? Like what type of daily grind did you have? Because people think I'm gonna just go there and play football and that's gonna be it. Like, let them know how difficult it is to really come out of a private school.
So not only do you get, challenged on the field, like athletically, but you also get challenged in the classroom. Like there's a certain like requirement, there's a certain like standard that they're going to hold you to throughout your high school journey. So I just feel like the best advice I could give to the kids is not only do you have to be a great athlete and dominate on the field, but you also have to dominate in the classroom because, you could be like this guy who goes for like 15 sacks in the season, all conference kind of guy. But at the end of the day, if you have like a 1.9 GPA, you're not going to go where you want to be at. So I think it's really, really important for you to like take care of the classroom, like as long. I know it's hard, for to be in academics. It might be difficult in certain subjects, but just put as much effort as you put into the field. You should put that into the classroom.
Yeah, hey, well said, man. Well said. I think a lot of kids just think it's just going to come by athletics, but it is academics first, then athletics.
Yes,
You
sir.
know. All right, so you moved over from Gilman out of the MIA to St. John's. How big of a jump was that?
That was one of the biggest and best decisions that I possibly made in my life. Just to give you an idea, I always like to compare like the WCAC to like the SEC or like the DMV, and then the Big Ten. I would like to compare that like to the MIAA. So both conferences are really competitive, but MIAA, they're putting dudes Power Five every year and like no problem. So I just measuring up against those kind of guys, really you really get the gauge to see what kind of level that you could possibly play at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I tell these kids, man, like they got to get out because a lot, like I'm a high school coach. So every time I talk to my athletes, man, I try to get them to understand that you do whatever it takes, man, to get out here and play the best athletes. So in the summertime, you have to hit the circuit. You
Right.
have to get out here and compete against some of these best guys. I understand sometimes financially it's a burden, but when I look at some of these athletes, they got $300 shoes on. They got all this Gucci belts and all that stuff. And I said, man, take that money, have your parents invest in the camps.
Hmm.
Take that money, have your parents invest in the travel. Because when it all turns around and it's your senior year and you like, man, no college coaches came around or coach, I need exposure. Well, I mean, you're wearing your opportunity for exposure. Every
Right.
day you're wearing all this Gucci. Like invest in what you want to do, which is get to the next level, go to college, have that opportunity where you can get a scholarship or an opportunity so that you can take the burden off your parents.
Exactly.
And I mean, I know that just that jump from playing Maryland schools to then you playing modern days, you playing the Douglases, the bigger schools, man. You had to see that huge jump,
Right.
and playing just in your state against local schools is not enough. You got to
Right.
compete against some of the best guys where the FBS schools is looking at them. So it's just mind boggling to me that has not translated yet to a lot of
Right.
these high school kids. So man, so after all that's said and done, you end up at Monmouth.
Yeah, I did.
All
I did.
right, so you in the CAA. So you didn't go you went far from home, but not that far from home.
Yeah, it
All right.
wasn't too bad. So, I just decided, when I was blessed enough to. Sorry about the dog in the
Nah,
background,
you good, man.
but so, I just want to say, like, I knew I was really blessed to, get the offers that I did coming out of high school. So I felt like they were transitioning from the Big South to the CAA. So I just felt like that was like one of the best FCS conferences that you could possibly play in,
Yeah.
besides like your Ohio Valleys and your Missouri Valley conferences and stuff like that.
Right.
So I just feel like just going there was probably going to be my best bet to possibly put it on tape to let them know that I could really play FBS. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you was playing when James Madison was there.
So I actually with the year I came in, James Madison had left.
Okay, they just left. Okay.
Yeah, yep. So I think my freshman year was the last year they were a CAA team.
I mean, but let's just look at this. James Madison, a FCS school that started out in the FCS in the CAA,
Hmm.
turns around and goes to the G5, and look at them now.
Exactly.
So I mean, like I try to tell these kids, man, from FCS to FBS, yes, there is a big like jump in size, but
Hmm.
skill set and athletes and talent, it's not that far apart.
Right.
A lot of it is just the resources that you get from an FCS. Like they have better meal plans, they have better therapists, they have better facilities,
Hmm.
but the athletes itself are not that far apart. The
Right.
coaching is different. The level of coaches that have played in the NFL or coached in the NFL is different, but a lot of it, man, is resources. It's resources, but you're playing great talent, whether it's FCS or FBS.
Right. Right.
And now with the portal, You even got everybody dropping down to D2, making that even stronger.
Exactly.
So these athletes got to understand, man. Like there's good football everywhere, you know, but you got to get to that next level. That's the
Exactly.
main thing. So, and it's funny, man. Like I told you before earlier when we talked prior to this interview, you Davion Johnson, you played with him
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
Mama. It's a small world. Now
Right.
here it is. You're down there with another one of my former players, Anthony Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Georgia State. He's the same way, transferred up from FCS to FBS. So the opportunities are there. You might
Right.
not get it straight out of high school, but you two guys showed it, man. You can transfer from FCS on up to FBS now with the portal.
Yes, sir. Yes,
They
sir.
want guys ready to play, you know. So let's talk about that. All right. Here it is. You're transferring up. The portal has changed. Now
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of high school kids that are not getting the opportunities. Can you explain to me why that is? Now that you're at the FBS level and you're there, explain to me what's happening.
I think the main thing is development and productivity. Like a lot of times they want to see how fast can you develop, how fast can you learn the system, and if you're at a certain weight threshold or you need to get somewhere, how fast can you get there, and like meet their standards. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times where I see a lot of issues with like incoming freshmen and stuff like that, they don't really sometimes they really take the red shirt route. Like they want to take the red shirt route just to let them develop, learn the system. But a lot of times, coaches are bringing you into play. So the faster you learn everything, the faster you get acclimated to everything, the better off you'll be. And I also think that COVID also played a small part in
Right,
that. Because a lot of times, like people just aren't as developed as they're used to. A lot of times they just want, and a lot of teams they just want to win now because they just feel like they're right there. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I just really like I said, the main issue is really with the young guys. They just feel like they don't really need to work as hard, or they just feel like they just need to like take that red shirt. But the faster I promise you, the faster you learn the system, the faster you get into the playbook, and get stronger, faster, and all of that, the better off you'll be.
Now let's talk about those playbooks because, like, I played Division One football and I came from a small school where I played wide receiver, where
Hmm.
the playbook was limited.
Right.
And you make that jump and you see these Division One playbooks where it's like phone books. Many of you
Yeah.
kids don't know what phone books are, but they're like encyclopedias. They're like the
Right.
size of encyclopedias. Like they're not 3 or 4 sheets of paper. And so tell me, where do you think a lot of these freshmen mess up when they do get that opportunity and then they don't pan out? Do you think it is learning the plays, or do you really think it's their athleticism?
Some I feel like it's a little bit of both. I'm not gonna lie, the Division 1 playbook it's really hard, but I feel like once you really apply yourself and really like study, like as if you were studying for like a school test, I feel like it'll be no problem. Because I feel like a lot of times coaches really trust the guy that knows the system and knows what they're doing rather than the guy who can, go out there and, just rely on their athleticism without knowing what they're doing at all. So I just
Right,
feel like, you know, the more you know the system, the more coaches will trust you, and the more coaches trust you, the higher the probability of them putting you in the game is. You know what I
right.
mean?
Now you're at Georgia State, man. You're in Atlanta, man. All that stuff to do. The
Yes, sir.
distractions are there. What kind of difficulties do these young freshmen have when they come to a place like Atlanta? Because I try to tell athletes all the time, like, you gotta be prepared for the places that you go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a kid that you're not in the books, you're not disciplined, that you struggle with certain things, a place like Atlanta is not the place to be going to school.
No, sir.
Because everything goes on there and the distractions are real.
Right.
So, how are you able to kind of buckle down to fight those distractions? Because, like you said, you got to study that playbook. That's like having another college class.
Right.
So, explain to me how do you do it?
So the way I do it is I remind myself of my goals. My ultimate goals is to one day get a chance to play in the NFL. And I feel like if that's really your goal and that's really your dreams, you wouldn't let any type of distractions or any, obstacles, knock you off your pivot and, distract you from where you want to go. Because, a lot of people say they want to do a lot of things, but they don't put no actions towards what they actually want to do. So I feel like, if you really want to buckle down and you're serious about your craft, then I feel like there's really no excuse for you not to achieve it as long as you like take the right steps.
Right, right. And so now you're pursuing your dream. You're right there, man.
Sir,
It's and everybody want to go to the NFL. I got it.
exactly.
But now you have the XFL, you got the CFL, you got Arena, you have a lot of different platforms now for guys to go off and play professional football.
Yes, sir.
Especially if it's something that you love. So you're right there, man, and you're competing at the highest level, the FBS level. So I mean, I commend you, man, for being able to make that jump,
Thank you.
solidify yourself. You're there, you're getting that opportunity to shine. You're on a bigger stage. How does that affect you mentally, knowing that you have all these challenges, knowing that the tension and the spotlight's on you? How do you deal with that? Because mental health is big, man, and a lot of people don't know how to handle that pressure. How do you handle it?
One, I just put all my faith into God. You know what I'm saying? I feel like He has a lot of answers for the right things, and I feel like He never puts you in a bad situation for you to fail. I feel like everything He puts you through is, a learning curve. How can you learn? How can you improve from like certain things that are in your way, or how can you like overcome those things? And I also think I like to put it on like my dreams and the way I like to drive towards them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's like if you don't have the drive, if you don't have the determination, then it's really all pointless. You know what I mean? So having that faith in God, just knowing that He has your back and He knows what's best for you, then I just feel like you're pretty much unstoppable at that point.
right, right. And I truly believe that, man. That's the biggest thing, that you have to have a higher power directing your path. It's just not about like you just getting out there and doing it. You
Right.
didn't get to where you are just by you. It took
Exactly.
coaches, it took faith, it took God's presence and purpose and alignment and family. It's like so many different pieces. And
Exactly.
they just look at us as athletes, but we're no longer the athletes of the 80s, where we're just jocks,
Exactly.
intellectual athletes that's out here trying to make a mark and be leaders in the community. And so, man, that's a wonderful thing to hear, man.
Yes,
How
sir.
you prioritize what's important in your life. So, where y'all at now? You're getting ready for spring ball.
Yes, sir.
You're doing. What are you doing now? Like, you're lifting. What are y'all doing? Conditioning?
So we're on spring break, but I went on a small vacation and came back so I could train. I just feel like that's really important because spring ball starts on Monday, so
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm mentally prepared and physically prepared because I feel like a lot of times when you have breaks, people like to just sit around and like just be lazy, but you lose a step. The more you sit around, you lose a step, and then
Yeah.
you got to get back into your groove.
Yeah.
So I just feel like as long as you stay on top of your craft and you keep working on your craft, then you always stay on your toes.
So, how many people are your position group?
So we have about 17 players in the offensive line room.
Y'all hear that, young kids? 17 players. So when you guys are sitting around looking through these rosters, there are kids that's not even on the rosters, that are red shirts, that are gray shirts, that's sitting in the wings. So understand, these coaches, they need high school players that's grown men coming in there disciplined, mentally tough, ready to go. They're not, and scholarships are year to year now. When I played, they were 4-year scholarships. Now
Yep,
it's year to year. So the competitiveness is there. You got to get that trainer. You got like Kyrik is saying, man, you don't want to miss a step. You got to be in them books. You got to be working on your craft 24/7. Um, but so how many freshmen did y'all bring in this year?
so I just transferred in January. So I know we brought in two transfers in the O line room, including myself. And then I know we have around like two or three like true freshmen in the O
God,
line room.
man, you talking about where they used to pull in 8, 8 to 10.
Exactly.
I mean, man, they are not playing. They are
Not
not
at all.
playing. You
Yes, sir.
know, and especially like you said, I could pull even a D2 guy, a grad D2 guy. I could pull a D2 guy. It's not just FCS guys and FBS guys transferring. It's D2 guys transferring up. They
Exactly.
want them guys ready to play.
Exactly.
So, the game has changed, man. How do you mentally prepare for all that? I mean, you're coming in, there's 17 guys in your position group. You still have to have that drive and hunger.
Yes, sir.
How do you prepare for that? Are you friends with these guys like on the field? Like, because a lot of kids want to be friends and they don't understand the competitiveness again.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
how do you look at them when you line up against them?
So I feel like, there's a time and a place to joke, and there's a time and a place to, handle your business. Like off the field, I feel like we could laugh and joke and be friends, and because at the end of the day, we're teammates. But like once we're in those lines, you got to learn how to like lock in. Like, no, this is business right here. Like you're working for your future. You're trying to, you playing for your why. Like whether you're playing for your family, playing for your goals, playing for whatever was driving you to play right now. So I feel like, you got to figure out when to play and when to really like lock in and focus on your craft.
Yeah, man. And then now, I mean, y'all won that bowl game last year. So, it's spotlights on y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
And that's the thing. Like when you start winning, everybody's looking for a shot.
For sure. For
Everybody's
sure.
looking for shots. So, you talking about 17 men now sitting in that, and everybody looking back saying, okay, who's traveling? Because all of y'all ain't traveling.
Yeah, we only travel around 12 guys.
Yeah. So, it's gonna be some sitting at home in the wings waiting. And once they line up in practice, you're being evaluated every single practice to play.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, it's not like high school because I remember sitting just knowing I had a good practice and sitting in the team room and knowing I was going to make the cut, and then they're
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
not today. Like, what do you mean? Well, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that right, and having to sit back.
Yes, sir.
I might have started one week, the next week I ain't starting. So it's a business.
It is.
How much more of that are you seeing now? Are you seeing that it's a business 24/7 with your coaches? Is it the same coach that recruited you that was laughing with you? Like how is that working?
So the more, like the further and further I get into my college career, the more and more I see that it's a business. Because I just transferred in January, and the two coaches who recruited me to come here got jobs elsewhere.
Wow,
So I'm actually, hold on, I'm sorry.
that's
So I'm
fine.
actually I'm actually on a whole new coaching staff right now. We got our new head coach. He was the former running backs coach at Georgia, Coach Del McGee. So
Okay,
I'm really excited about him. I like his strategy. I like his mission for us. So honestly, the way I would handle that is, just have faith in my ability to play, because
yeah,
obviously I wasn't brought here for no reason. So just really having confidence in my ability, I feel like will take me a long way.
but see, all right. So you could have won a lot of other places.
Sure.
Why was you willing to travel so far to play? Like, one of the biggest things is that's a cost to you. Traveling back and forth home,
Hmm.
seeing your family. You know, you ain't seeing your family every weekend.
Yes, sir.
You're down there, have to build a new community and stuff like that. Like, what were you thinking when you were looking at? I'd rather go 16 hours away from Maryland than to play locally.
So my mom always told me, spread your wings and, explore. I've been in Maryland my entire life. I know what it's like to play Maryland football. I know what it's like to, like I'm very familiar with the area and stuff like that. So I always told myself, like, why not, play somewhere else and, just experience something new. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why another reason why I decided to come down here is because it's the FBS level. I like to if I consider myself to be a good player, I would like to also play against other good players. You know what I'm saying? To really see like where I match up at. If I'm really, if I really do have the ability to play at this level and stuff like that. So I just feel like, just testing the waters and just playing the best people I could possibly play. Because at the end of the day, in the NFL, those are the best of the best.
The best of the best.
from their perspective colleges, they're the best football players in the world. So if I want to play against the best of the best, why not do that now?
And what gives you the advantage too is when you look at from the lineman standpoint, you know, when you're looking at the Big Ten and the schools in Michigan, Ohio, they got big linemen, O
Hmm.
linemen. But you're down in the South where you're playing against fast D linemen. The South produces so many fast and competitive and big D linemen. You
Hmm.
know, the SEC and those schools that's down in that area are recruiting from the same pot. If those guys aren't going to Georgia, they end up at Georgia State, Georgia Southern. You know, a lot
Exactly.
of them guys they're not really traveling too far from home, or the UCFs and stuff like that. So you're actually playing against NFL caliber guys from the D line standpoint. You
Right.
know, so that's going to help you have that faster mode of playing because you gotta be nasty as an O lineman.
For sure.
Everybody thinks O lineman, man, they soft. No,
You can't
a lot
be
of
no.
the O linemen I know, man, they are dirty. They are dirty dogs. Them jokers, man, will give you no mercy.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I say all these kids, man, I don't want to play O line. And O line is where the nastiness is. You
Yes, sir.
know, you can't be soft playing O line. You
No,
know,
sir. Can't.
um, but that's something, man, that I see it to your advantage and to a lot of guys because Maryland doesn't really recruit. A lot of linemen don't really come out of Maryland.
Right.
Maryland's known for your specialists, and,
Hmm.
and your DNs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I can understand your strategy. Get down there where majority of your D linemen they go pro are and show
Yes,
like
sir.
I can handle my own. So I
Yes,
think
sir.
that was a smart strategy. So what are some things, man, people don't know about you, man? What are some of the things that talents and stuff that you have that people don't even know?
I would say a few talents is I'm pretty good at drawing.
Okay.
I like to draw, and once upon a time, I used to actually play the saxophone. I
All
was
right.
all county honors and that and stuff. So it was a pretty different time at that point. But those are some things that I guess really nobody really knew about me. So that's what I had.
Well, that's good, man. It's always good to have other things and other talents. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's why I say, man, if you really sit down with athletes, man, they're well diverse in in the talents and things that they have. That's why I like to share that to let people know, man, like we are very complex individuals.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we hit the field, we enjoy ourselves. Yeah, we can get rah-rah, but we have other sides of us that keep us calm and keep us focused, driven towards our ultimate goal. So, so what's your major?
I'm actually majoring in business finance with economics.
Oh man, there you go.
Yes, sir.
You trying to be on Wall Street one day?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with numbers, so I was like, I might as well try it.
Hey man, that's good, man. Look, that's life is all about numbers, man.
Yes,
You
sir.
can't man, you can't manage that bank account, bro. Hey, when you get that big check from the NFL, man, you gotta know how to divvy that money out and make it work for you.
Exactly. I'd rather do it myself than try to hire somebody. So
There you
I
go. Hey,
might as
that's smart.
well
Look at it. Got your head. Got your head. Your mama did a great job,
try.
man. Get your head together,
Yeah,
man. That's
you sure,
good.
you sure
That's
did.
good, man. So look, man, what are some things, man, you like to share with our community, man? Like I said before, man, we're trying to reach out to those athletes, man, that come from small towns that are under recruited because you know, colleges don't have the budget to make it to their area. We're trying to really help these young kids get the information, hear from the source, hear from the guys that's playing Division One football. To
Hmm.
kind of help them develop a strategy and plan. Like, what are some of the things, man, that you can share with them, man, to really help them understand that this recruiting process is hard for a reason?
So first and foremost, like I said, academics. You got to stay on top of your academics. I feel like without academics, there's really no point. You're really not gonna go to your Alabamas or your Dukes or your stuff like that. So academics is number one. And when you feel like you're working, always remember that there's somebody trying to outwork you or be in the position that you're in. And I feel like that will always keep your competitive advantage up, and it will always keep you hungry and continue to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I will also say that bet on yourself. I made a lot of hard decisions throughout my football career. Transferring from Gilman to St. John's. And then going from FCS to FBS. Like I'm taking a lot of gambles on myself, So as long as you have no, I just want you to live with no regrets. Always bet on yourself, and if you feel like you're making the wrong decision, make sure you talk to the right people. You know, talk to your
Right.
coaches, talk to your parents, talk to somebody that you trust before you make any type of decisions in life. Because sometimes it's better to get multiple inputs just to rather than relying on your own. Because throughout these hard decisions in my life, I got to rely on my mom, I got to rely on my coaches, Coach DMAC, Coach Pat Ward from St. John's, and he helped me a lot. So just and then just building and keeping those connections that you build along the way, like with those coaches or with those parents that drove you to practice and took you home from practice. So I just feel like if you keep all of those things in mind, you'll be really successful when it comes to this.
And hey, for sure, man. And one of the things to y'all coaches, man, like you got to sit down and listen to the athletes, man, especially the ones that have opportunities. Because what I've seen as a high school coach, not just in Maryland, but other places that I've coached, is that coaches want them to live their dreams and where they want to go.
Hmm.
I've seen high school coaches, discourage a kid from going here because he was a graduate from over here and he'd rather push him here. I think coaches need to sit down and listen to the athletes to find out their plan, because nowadays, man, you don't even have head coaches that are year round coaches.
Right.
So if you're not a year-round coaches, develop a plan so that when you have your seniors come around and be like, "Yeah, hey, I coach basketball, but hey, we put a plan together for you. So even though I'm coaching basketball, I'm gonna be available. I'm gonna make myself available because these recruiters they stop coming if you ain't showing up.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm seeing in the Baltimore area, surrounding areas that college coaches are coming through, and I'm hearing them say, "Man, I went to this school. There was nobody. I talked to the administration, and I couldn't get in touch with nobody.
Yeah.
So I'm not coming back." You know, um, you got coaches, man, that don't realize that for us to have played college football, coaches that come back, I have a different mindset than a coach that is just there to get a paycheck. For me, it was about giving back. I'm doing this because I want to give back, and I love the sport of football. And I see that there are so many things working against football. They talk about concussions. Okay,
Right.
got it. Soccer got just as much concussions.
Exactly.
Lacrosse have just as much concussions and injuries with a ball that's coming 90 miles an hour. The things that they don't want to talk about.
Hmm.
It's like football is the boogeyman. And so I'm seeing year after year after year, parents not putting their kids into football leagues because of the things that they heard from the outside from people that don't really understand the game. I've learned a lot of life between the markers, man. Football is just not a physical sport just to be physical. It's life. For some of
Exactly.
us, it's life. It has guided me in leadership. It has guided me in understanding losses, understanding wins, understanding on how to be a graceful loser. Understanding to look at how to develop myself, looking at playbooks, going to college, having to balance college and football, you know,
Hmm.
and I'm sure you can contest to this. You have it harder than just a student going to class because you have to maintain the football side of it to keep your academics so that you can play. Talk
Exactly.
about talk about that because I think with this whole NIL deal and this whole paying an athlete and being a student athlete, you guys are doing more than just being an athlete. You know, how you feel
So
about that?
so I just feel like it is a little bit difficult because you gotta, like you said, you got study your playbooks while also preparing for a stat exam, for on Tuesday, and then if you studying for that exam while also knocking out all your homework while also trying to watch film. So I just what I'm saying. So it's just trying to find that balance between the two, trying to find the balance and trying to figure out how to like take care of those academics while also taking care of football.
Yeah, 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 man. I see your friend back there wants your attention, boy.
Yeah, he's really upset right now.
Yeah, I understand, man. I understand. Hey, as a dog lover, man, they almost want attention. Hey, you got a child behind you, man, just like a
Yeah, I
child.
know. I
I got
know.
a 5-year-old, so they always tugging at you, you know. But it's all good, man. Hey, I really appreciate you, man. I know it took some time to get this thing going and getting us to connect. I missed you when I was down there,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm glad, man, we can make this happen. Hey, share your Instagram, share your social media, man, so people can follow you.
All right, so my Instagram is yeah.reek, so YEAHH.REEK. And then my Twitter is at Kyrik Mason, KYRIKMASON. And if you can follow me on there, you can also reach out if you have any, questions about recruiting, or, you need any guidance on like how the whole process works, I'm always open. My DMs are always open. So if you need any help, you can always reach out.
Look at that, man. And y'all young guys, take advantage of that, man. I'm trying to encourage some of these guys, man, that go off to give back, man. I know sometimes it can be difficult because schools don't really like y'all coming back, but I'm like, forget that. That needs to
Hmm.
happen. Hey, high schools, it is a benefit for you to bring these guys back to speak to your athletes. You'll have a better graduation and a better recruitment. That's a pipeline to another school. Come on, man. People
Yeah,
ain't thinking about that.
I know.
Y'all the plug. You the pipeline in. You know what I'm saying? If I had you, I'm like, okay, man, listen, man, who's your area recruiter? Hey, let me slide you some video.
Yes,
They're
sir.
not thinking like that, man. And
Hmm.
I just wish that some of these coaches, man, call me, talk to me, high school coaches. I can tell you how it's done. I have the connections and the plug to help you. I just need you guys to follow, like, and just support me. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
one of the things, man, is that they need to support you too. I want to see the community really show up and help you. And anybody got any businesses, you see he's well spoken, man, and he's an intelligent young man. Look, help him out. Help him with an NIL deal. Help this man. He's trying to do some great things and to, play at the next level. Because y'all gonna regret it when he does make it to the next level. It's gonna be too late. Get him now. So, hey, man, I appreciate you. Hey, Coach Mack, I thank you for this opportunity to interview Kyrie, and let Anthony know, man, his interview is up next, man.
I got you.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. This is Alonzo from the URA Football Show with Kyrie Mason, man. I want you guys to have a blessed day, man, and I appreciate you, man. And we'll be talking soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.